That title stung a little bit, I hope. I meant it to. My name is Scott. I have spent 35 years teaching martial arts. I have worked with thousands of kids and I raised 3 of my own. So when I tell you about what's in this video, I am not guessing. Here's what a title like that is too short to hold. Gentle parenting is not the problem and strict parenting is not the problem either. The problem is you. And that's exactly the best news I can give you today because you are the only thing in the whole equation that can change. You can't choose the kids standing in front of you, but you can choose whether you're willing to keep learning how to teach them. And here's the funny part. Your kid is already learning you. They're watching you. They're testing you. They're figuring out what gets a reaction. They're figuring out where your boundaries are and which boundaries disappear if they push hard enough. They're learning you constantly. So the question is, are you learning them as fast as they're learning you? Because gentle parenting can work beautifully with one kid and completely fail on another. Strict parenting can do the same exact thing. And the moment you become more loyal to your parenting method than you are to learning about the kid standing in front of you, the parenting method isn't the problem anymore. You are. So let's get into it. Gentle or strict? That's the wrong question. Gentle parenting is a method. Strict parenting is a method. Rewards and consequences, talking a problem through, taking privileges away, they're all different ways of trying to teach something. But no method teaches anything just because you used it. You can speak gently to your kid, okay, but what did they learn? You can hold a hard line and be firm with them, fine, but what did they learn? You can explain something for 20 minutes. You can take away their phone. You can give them another chance. You can send them to their room. But what did they learn? Because the method is not a lesson. What the kid actually understood, that's the lesson. Now, martial artists have argued about this forever. What is the best style? Is it karate? Is it boxing? Is it wrestling? Is it jiu-jitsu? The answer is all of them. In the right situation. Striking and punching and kicking is a beautiful thing when you're standing on your feet. But try using your beautiful striking game when you're flat on your back and someone's sitting on top of you. Striking didn't suddenly become stupid. It's just the wrong tool for the situation that you're in. Parenting works the same way. Gentle might fit one kid in this situation at this age. Firm might fit the next one. But here's where parents screw this up. Instead of choosing the method based on what the kid needs to learn, you start choosing the method based on what you claim to be. I am a gentle parent. I'm strict. I don't believe in punishment. My parents were hard on me and I turned out just fine. I hated how my parents raised me, so I'm never doing that to my kids. Listen to all those statements. They're about you. How you were raised, how you feel, what you believe, what makes you comfortable, what kind of parent you want to be. But who are you supposedly developing? Your kid. Your parenting shouldn't be built around proving what kind of parent you are. It should be built around figuring out what this particular kid needs to learn right now. And your willingness to keep learning that answer and adjust when you're wrong, that's where discipline starts. Let me show you what I mean. Now, I had a mom come to me. She stepped into my office at my karate school because her son was driving her insane. He was smarting off, aggravating her, ignoring directions, basically pushing every button that she had. So she asked me to talk to him. This kid was about 15. I started training him when he was about 3. So I sat him down and I said, your mom says you're smarting off to her, aggravating her, and ignoring her. Is that true? And the kid goes, yes, sir, that's true. So I told him, I said, look, I get it. I like aggravating your mom too, and I have for a long time. She is a tiny woman with a huge attitude, and the look on her face makes it even more fun and better. I mean, what's she gonna do, right? Now he starts laughing, and I said, but look, dude, that's your mom. Nobody on this planet loves you the way that woman does. She pays for everything, she takes care of you, and she does all this stuff for you to make your life easier. And the kid looks at me and goes, Mr. Wilkerson, I can't help it. She is so small and she gets so aggressive and it's just so cute. Now, think about what that kid told me. To his mom, this was war. To him, it was just a game. It was the same interaction, 2 completely different experiences. And she thought turning up the intensity made the lesson more serious. He thought when she turned up the intensity, it made the game more interesting and fun and entertaining. If she only looked at the interaction from her perspective, everything she's doing makes sense. I'm getting more serious. Why is he not getting more serious? Because he's not experiencing what you're experiencing. And that's valuable information. That's information that I had to learn about this kid before I could teach him. Now, I didn't come at him harder than she did. I didn't try to overpower him. I didn't tell him, I'm not going to let you test because of how you're acting. I learned the game he was playing. I got inside his frame. I agreed with the part he thought was funny because I understood exactly why he thought it was funny. Then I moved the frame. I moved him from my mom is really fun to aggravate to what does this woman actually mean to me? Different methods, same goal. And this distinction is important. Adapting the method doesn't mean surrendering the standard. I didn't decide it was suddenly okay for him to disrespect his mom. The standard never changed. It never moved. The teaching did. And that's the difference. The goal belongs to the adult. But if the method isn't teaching the goal that we want, it's the adult's responsibility to learn something new. That's adaptation and that's discipline. That's just discipline doing its job. Now go back and look at that story. The problem wasn't that his mom got firm, and the solution wasn't that I got gentle. I don't really get gentle. That's still the wrong fight though. The problem was that what made sense from her side of the interaction wasn't producing the lesson she thought it was producing on his side. That's where parenting can become about the parent. Gentle parenting isn't a problem because it's gentle. It becomes a problem when gentle stops being a response to the child and starts becoming something that the parent has to defend. The exact same thing happens with strict parenting. You're firm because this moment requires firmness. Okay, fine. You're firm because that's just the way I parent. Now we have a problem because somewhere along the way, the method stopped being about teaching the kid. It became about you. Maybe being gentle makes you feel loving. Maybe being strict makes you feel strong and in authority. Maybe gentle parenting proves you're nothing like your parents. Maybe being strict or doing strict parenting proves your parents were right. Or maybe an expert told you this was the correct way to parent, and now changing your approach would mean admitting that the expert doesn't know the kid living in your house as well as you do. Or maybe the parenting style or method became part of your identity, like I am a gentle parent. Okay, but what happens when the kid in your house needs something your parenting identity doesn't know how to give? Now, some kids respond to a light correction. You can explain something once, they understand it, they adjust, and everybody moves on. Other kids, they keep pushing until they find out whether the boundary that you're talking about is actually real. I was the second kind. Now, if I didn't believe you were actually going to enforce the thing you were telling me, I probably wasn't listening to you. And I'm still that way. You can explain something perfectly and I can hear you flawlessly. I just didn't care. I see, that's also valuable information. It's not proof that I was a bad kid. It's not proof gentle parenting is evil. It's information about how this particular kid is responding to this particular method. And that's where the parent gets tested. Do you take that information and adjust, or do you keep doing what makes sense to you and then blame the kid because it doesn't make sense to them? Because once reality tells you the method isn't working, running the same method again is not discipline. It's just repetition. Now, maybe you're thinking, but Scott, I'm just not a firm person. Okay, maybe you honestly don't know how to be firmer yet. That's fair. That's an I can't do it for today. But the second that you realize your child needs something from you that you don't currently know how to give them, you've got a decision to make. I mean, are you going to learn from it? Because if you refuse to learn from it, and I can't do it becomes an I won't do it. And this is where I think parents need to ask themselves a harder question. Who are you protecting? If your kid needs a stronger boundary, but setting that boundary makes you uncomfortable, whose comfort are you protecting? Yours. If your kid throws a fit when you say no and you change the boundary because you don't want to deal with the fit, whose emotional state just controlled the lesson? Yours. If you're afraid your kid is going to be angry with you because you held the line, who are you protecting? You. And if you keep using a method because some expert told you it was the right one, even though your own kid keeps showing you it's not working, whose belief are you protecting? You guessed it, yours. And if changing the method feels like betraying your identity as a gentle parent, whose identity are you protecting? Also yours. That's where you become the problem. Not because you're evil and not because you don't love your kid, because the learning process has stopped being centered on what the child needs to develop and started being centered on what the parent needs to feel okay. Your kid's development matters more than your parenting label. If the kid standing in front of you needs you to learn something different using a different method or style, that's the job. So go back to the title. Gentle parenting isn't the problem. Strict parenting isn't the problem either. They're just methods. The problem starts when your method becomes more important to you than the child that you're teaching. When your comfort matters more than their development. When your identity matters more than the information they're giving you. When you need them to respond the way you would respond instead of learning how they actually do things. That's when you become the problem. Your loyalty was never supposed to be to gentle parenting. It was never supposed to be to strict parenting either. Your loyalty is to the development of the kid that's standing in front of you. So when reality keeps telling you that kid needs something different and you refuse to change because changing makes you uncomfortable, it was never the method that failed, it was you. Now, if this landed, hit like. Another parent needs to hear it. Share it. And go back to the title one more time. Gentle parenting isn't the problem. You are.